So I have decided to go ahead and plunge some money to create this, which is the MyStudio setup. And I wanted to review this for you in case you want to get this for yourself, and should you actually get this, and is it worth it still for the year 2022. Of course, there's other setups. You can see I have different kind of setups, but nothing can replace the angle that this gives. So I wanted to check this out, how effective it is, if it is good enough for me to get, and of course to tell you if you should get something like this. It's around $200, and it is much cheaper if you don't get it with the accessories and lights. I have not set up the lights and accessories because I'm a little bit not sold on this product. So let me go ahead and review this. Check it out. So first off, you need some kind of a background light, and you can get the accessory light that comes with it. I prefer to use my handy light over here, which you can set different directions with this, which is the door cast over here. If you're creating something like this for your light system and for setup, you need to make sure that it has a light bar attached to it, so you can make sure that the light itself right here is pointing exactly to the product. Now we have an issue here. We have a little bit of a shadow. So the way to get rid of the shadow, you increase the light output a little bit. You can see it doesn't really help with this specific shadow. So you can move it around. You're still getting some shadow, although I'm getting lights coming from the top as well. So what you can do here, you have this other thing here. You can put this up and you can prevent some of the lights, but it's not coming from here, it's coming from this direction right there. So one way for you to do here is to get a different source of light pointing from here. So we have an issue here. So how do we get rid of this issue or fix it? Pretty simple. We need another source of light. So I use the different light source over here, which is this. And it seems to be working. It got rid of the shadow from one side. Unfortunately, it came up and created a different shadow over here. So with the light photography, you have to understand that it is all about working with lights, and you have to set this in a way that this will work for you. So let's bounce it off the top here, and it seems that this is probably one of the better ways for us to do this. So bounce it somehow to get rid of this shadow. Oh, there we go. Kind of like trying to do this. It's really hard. In a lot of ways, you might have to just up the brightness on this to as powerful as possible. See if this works. So yeah, this seems to be working a little bit better. Let me turn this off. So this is when it comes to trying to create a balance here and to figure this one out. And unfortunately, it doesn't seem to work as good as I anticipated. This thing is a little bit on the cheap side. You can see right here. And I wanted to go through and review the actual material here that we get. So in case you want to get this. So pretty much what this is, it's just a piece of plastic, and it's not really that great. I don't feel like this thing is worth around $200. I would say $50 would be reasonable for what it is. The whole thing is very flimsy. You can see how it bends right here, which makes me question how long this thing is going to last. So be careful. If you get one of those things, be careful. If this thing drops, it's going to break immediately. And take a look at this. You can see how it looks like. The material over here, flimsy, really flimsy material. And with the lights, I put the lights, I tried to arrange it and everything. I think my old setup is better than this. It wasn't really needed. The only thing I'm not getting is the angle, but I can do the angle right here. You can see with the with this. It works. It works. So why get something like this? It makes me question this whole thing. So this setup might work good if you don't have an existing setup such as I have myself, but for me this is not working, not the way I want it to work. The lights, like sometimes you have the shade, and I understand that you probably need another source of light from the other side, but it gives me back to the same thing. I can get this done without needing this particular thing for me. So if you're going to be getting one of those, you can see how big this is, you can see the material and everything else. Do I recommend this for you? It depends. It depends if you need $200, if this is something in your budget, and if it's going to work for you, and if you can work with the lights and create this. Otherwise, I really don't suggest it for you. You can do the do-it-yourself stuff. It takes a lot less space over here. You see less space now when I got rid of this, and it's not as pretty. It doesn't work as well. You can see it's much darker. Even with this brightness tone totally on, it doesn't reflect as much light, but we can definitely change it with the camera and lighting over here. And we still have the famous shade, but now I can use a different kind of set of light from the side instead. And if I want to use this, I can bounce this off something else. So I can just put this and bounce it right off the wall and see if this is going to get rid of this shade over here. So yeah, I can probably duplicate something like this, and I really don't need the same exact setup. So what do you guys think? Are you going to be getting one of those things for yourself? Is this something that you think is worthwhile? And you can see that in camera I can definitely just up the brightness, and it totally fixes the shade issue completely.